Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. Going back to LA today, I interviewed Lance from Permanent Records. He has a label, he has a bar, he's got a record store out back. He's got all kinds of crazy things going on, but Lance is known as one of the leading hard rock purveyors in the industry. He does a lot with the Brown Acid series. He handles like all the A&R work and stuff for that, and a lot of the Riding Easy reissue series. He does a lot of A&R stuff for. So Lance collects some heavy hard rock stuff, and it's just great to peel back the layers and get into his mind and see how he works. I love Lance. He's a very good friend of mine, so we sit down and have a great conversation. Listen, I know I've said this in the other interviews, but you really are going to want to check out the podcast for this one, because me and Lance sat down for a really long time and talked about owning a shop, owning a label, some of the nuances of collecting like these heavy hard rock 45s, a lot of really important, awesome, interesting things, and I couldn't fit them all in this video. So just for the purpose of this video, a lot of what we show is he showing just some really cool records and talking about how he got started. That's pretty much what this video is all about. But in the podcast, we get way more in depth. So check out the podcast. It's called Vinyl Biography Podcast. The link is in the description to the Apple Music, Spotify, and web browser, so you can listen to it no matter what you got. So without further ado, let's hang out with Lance.
I considered 45s the final frontier, you know, when it came to rock music, especially like 60s and 70s rock. Because once you've learned everything you can learn about all the types of LPs that there are, from major label to private pressings and everything in between, that you start to feel like you've never exhausted it, but you start to feel like you've exhausted it. And then diving into the pool of 45s just opens up this whole new world of music you've never heard before, because most of the bands on Brown Acid never released an LP.
Yeah.
So the only way you can actually own an artifact or a document of those recordings on vinyl is by buying a 45, you know. I'm Lance. I own Permanent Records and Permanent Records Roadhouse, and I started this store back in 2006 in Chicago. We moved to LA in 2011, had 3 different locations in Los Angeles until 2019 when we opened the Permanent Records Roadhouse. And we are now a live music venue, a bar, and a record store. And yeah, we sell records online on Instagram. We do whatnot auctions every now and again, but mostly we sell records right here in the record store behind the venue. I'm also the curator of the Brown Acid compilation series, the longest running hard rock, heavy psych, and proto metal series of all time. And I also curate the scrap metal compilation series, and I do a lot of the A&R work, most of the A&R work on the reissue projects at Riding Easy Records. Of course, you can't have this conversation with Dylan when you own this record without bringing up Moonblood by Fraction. A big part of my record collecting habit is autobiographical, so like I don't keep much these days. I oftentimes just let things come and go through my hands. But when it's something like this that I've worked on personally, I've worked on getting reissued, I always have to have an original copy of it. I was in either my last year of junior high or high school when I started being drawn to vinyl records, primarily because I found them very alluring in general, but also because I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. I got a job as soon as I could get a job, 15 and a half. Anyway, working at a grocery store, bagging groceries and pushing carts and stuff. So when I had no money and I wanted to buy music, I would go to the record store and I'd see the CD in the bins for 15, 18, 20 bucks or whatever it was at the time. And then I look at the shelf of records over there, and all the same titles that I was after, well, a lot of the older things anyway, were all $1. There was nothing at that time in most record stores' bins that was more than $8 or $10, you know. Yeah. I remember the first time I paid $12 for a Hawkwind record, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, I gotta have it, you know. So Yeah, I kind of just used vinyl at that time as a supplement to buying CDs to have amass as big and eclectic of a collection as I could get at the time on the most limited budget you could ever possibly imagine. I come from virtually nothing. My family is all very lower middle class at best. My parents both worked full time, and I didn't get a real allowance or anything like that. So I was always cutting the lawn to earn a little extra spending money. I would even like cut neighbors' yards and stuff like that. So yeah, I just started buying things willy-nilly. I would aim for the Sabbath and the Zeppelin records that seemed to be low-hanging fruit, but if I stumbled across something unusual along the way, I would just kind of snag it as I went along. And then I started hitting garage sales and stuff like that. And I remember the first copy of Terry Riley's A Rainbow in Curved Air I found at a garage sale, because I was like, what the hell's this thing? This looks incredible. And I bought the whole box of records, and that was like the only decent thing in there. But it was a mind expander. That's an incredible record. Yeah. It's a gateway drug into the whole world of modern composition and 20th century classical, so, and electronic music too, of course. So that's how it all began. And then, of course, snowball out of control. Start working at the local or the community radio station in college. I had a radio show at KCOU, all throughout college. Just being around that much music, you at that point in my life, I had never seen a collection of records that large, or a library like that. But it wasn't really about the records per se. I was never like I'm going to be a record collector. I'm just buying music and collecting music on whatever format I could get at the time. I was buying tapes and stuff too, of course. This record's been shown on Dylan's channel many, many times. This is an essential 70s hard rock private press. This is just one of the best records of all time, regardless of genre. But Josephus, not only did they release Dead Man, before they released Dead Man, they released this 45 when they were called Come, and this is the original release of the songs Crazy Man and Country Boy here on the really, really cool looking Dandelion label. So that's pre-Josephus. And then right after Josephus, they went on to be in a band called Stone Axe, a couple of the guys.
Oh, dude, that one.
And this is a double-sided banger on the Rampart Street Records label here. Both songs on that single are unbelievable, and that's rare to have a hard rock single have two full-on bangers on it, right?
Yeah, what's that record worth?
Oh, who knows? There's no copies available for sale. It's like high single digits, low double digit halves in the stats. So thousands, I would guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Based on what other lesser singles sell for in the genre, and just for a little more visual, we got the original promo poster from Stone Axe here, which is pretty rad too.
Super rad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do have a spare of this if you're interested in one for your personal collection.
I just got one of those.
Oh, nice.
Too, so I would love to have that if you have one.
Yeah.
So.
And then while we're on the subject of Rampart Street Records, this record is absolutely stunning right here. And this is probably one of the rarest of the hard rock, heavy psych, proto metal privates. This is Purple Sun, Doomsday. It's just like, it's incredible that this thing even exists, one of the best records of that type of all time, and impossibly rare. I looked for this for a long time.
Yeah.
1970 Texas, and yeah. Whew.
You have such a love and affinity for 45s, which is something that a lot of record collectors don't touch, because I think it's a really intimidating world.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the deepest collectors, like Jeffrey Weiss or whatever,
yeah,
everybody has them. That are like, because you have to tap into it at some point. So when was the first time you started venturing into the world of 45s?
That's a good question. I always, again, along the way, would buy 45s because they were there, you know. And I didn't start buying in bulk really until I had a store. I was always kind of trying to pick and choose, aside from that box at the garage sale that had the Terry Riley record in it. But so I always had some, And then, of course, I got really into punk in college. From punk, I went into getting really, really deeply into post-hardcore and early emo. So I had a buddy named Justin Nardi. He played in this really, really incredible band there called 1 Inch Punch that was kind of like they were essentially just unwound worship, right? So sick. They're amazing. Those guys turned into Warhammer 48K, and that was the first release on Permanent Records, the Warhammer record. And then those guys, when they broke up, went on to be in Cave, and then Cave guys went on to be in Bitchin' Bajas, which is the most active group from that scene in Columbia, Missouri. And Justin had an amazing collection of a bunch of early emo and post-hardcore 45s. So Justin would loan me 45s so I could tape them. So I literally, because that kind of stuff, you couldn't get it anywhere else, you know. I made mixtapes from his 45s, and that then became my checklist for 45s I wanted to buy when I went into record stores. But speaking of Brown Acid, I got, this is After Flash. This is their cover of the Damnation of Adam Blessing song, Cookbook.
Oh, sick.
How's that look?
Great, yeah. Perfect, you're a pro.
Absolutely incredible Iowa psych record, just unbelievable. And when I tracked down the members of the band, I also acquired an original show poster from them too. Still to be filled in here as to what venue they may be performing at. The rarest, probably the rarest, at least on according to Discogs stats, the most valuable single. So this is Masterdance's Feelin' Dead. That's a promo only release. I think they did 100 copies of this in 1974. Never intended to be sold, only as a promotional item to send out to venues, labels, you know, booking agents, whatever. And the band had one spare copy when I tracked them down. Wow. And luckily I was able to acquire it. And yeah, this was on Brown Acid, I think Brown Acid 13 from Detroit, Michigan. And not only did we license this track for Brown Acid, these guys had tapes with unreleased material, so we did a whole full-length album of that unreleased material.
And it's so nasty. It's so good. I love that.
Incredible. The whole process of sorting through a box of 45s is so unappealing to most people, and that's a huge hump you have to get over, and it took me a long time to want to get over that hump, but then when I caught the bug and knew what I was looking at, and it's also like that Freakonomics 10,000 hour rule, right? Like, when you've done something for 10,000 hours, you start to become an expert in that area, and then that task doesn't feel as daunting because you can very quickly and easily start to sort through these mysterious things in a way that when you go into it the first time, you're just like, I have no idea what I'm even looking at right now, you know? I also curate a series of compilations called Scrap Metal, and this is one of the rarest singles off the Scrap Metal series. I have the stock copy of the 45, which is just exceedingly rare heavy metal. And then this has the sleeve, but is the lacquer disc. Wow. Probably just one copy of that exists, and thankfully I have that. And this is just a blistering heavy metal record right here. Absolutely incredible. Don't even like taking this out of the house, but you got to do it every once in a while. One of the most intense records on the Scrap Metal series. That cover is sick. Isn't that unbelievable? Yeah, the artwork is just brutal. This is this for a long time. This was the most valuable 45 in my collection. This is Ciampi's Lay on the Floor is on the side facing me, but We Have Waited. This is incredibly heavy Texas hard rock. People have called Ciampi the Black Sabbath of Texas. I don't think that's actually accurate, you know, but they are a heavy rock band from Texas, of which there are few. They are few and far between, especially this good. And I got this copy of the Ciampi 45 from Mike Asherman. He's an Acid Archives contributor, a member of the Psych Mafia from back in the day, legendary record collector. Mike Asherman, one of the true OGs of this kind of vibe, and his crates run deep, and I bought it from him. And then here's another one that I did the A&R work on. This is an exceptionally rare and killer record, and it's not terribly heavy. It's just a really groovy, unique, almost like a rural psych vibe. Yeah. This is Flood, The Rise of Flood on the Maple Records label. Just absolutely killer 1970 or so rock and roll record. This is getting reissued soon on Writing Easy. You know, another one I know is in Dylan's collection. This is an OG, of course, on that amazing Zonk record label. This one has some amazing ephemera with it. Yeah, press kit with a note from the band's manager. A list of the groups the band performed with, references, promo shot of the band, repros of show flyers, and so on and so forth. Just a very, very cool document, and very hard to find this kind of ephemera with private pressings, of course. You know,
yeah,
you're lucky to find the record, much less a rad press kit like this. And you know, it's hard to imagine how a band like St. Anthony's Fire, having performed with Grand Funk and Rare Earth and MC5, etc., didn't go on to become a household name. The band was so incredible. The album is amazing, and
probably had to do with their manager a little bit.
Usually does, yeah.
He would bill them as being Led Zeppelin, and then just people show up and be like, "That's not Led Zeppelin." He's like, "Well, you're already here, so you already bought a ticket."
Yeah, just stick around. Why not? And then, of course, we have Raven, Back to Ohio Blues. We reissued this on the Permanent Records label. This is one of the few things that I keep in print on our label, along with the Stonewall record. I wish I had an OG of that to share. I have that. This record's, you know, very, very rare, yeah. But only worth a fraction of what the Stonewall would be worth if it came up for sale.
Fraction's worth a fraction.
Right, totally, yeah. I was just having that conversation with Daniel last night. Like, what's a Stonewall OG worth these days?
Sky's the limit. I mean, because when did that last one sell? In like
2014.
14. And that was
a whole other
grand, yeah. And that was 2014. So there's 5 known copies, right?
Yeah.
So now it would go for whoever had the. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It would definitely go for 20 grand, I think.
At least, yeah.
So
I'd pay 20 grand for a copy.
I'll keep that.
It's crazy. It's a crazy fucking world we live in. Right? This record is incredible through and through. Unfortunately, Phil Pearlman is notoriously difficult to work with, does not want to legitimately reissue any of the albums that he did, and he did 3 albums of incredible private pressed music: Electronic Hole, Beat of the Earth, and Relatively Clean Rivers. This is a rural psych masterpiece. It's up there with CAC, or you name it. You tell me the Notorious Bird Brothers, name, you know, Flying Burrito Brothers, name the best rural psych record. This is up there, if not at the top of the heap. And then artwork's absolutely incredible. It's definitely worth that $1.50 price tag that's on there from way back in the day.
Well, Neil Pearlman back in the day would do I think he called it reverse shoplifting, where he would take them into record stores and leave them.
I hadn't heard that, yeah.
Because nobody wanted them, so he would just take them in record stores and put price on them and leave them.
Right on. Let's keep on keeping on. You know, Dylan owns this one. I got my copy from Billy Lee Janey, and he hooked me up with this signed little photo insert thing, which is basically just a scan of the back cover of the jacket. And this is a sealed OG.
Ooh, nice.
No need to open that one. I got the reissue to play, and I bet the reissue sounds better than the OG. That's certainly the case with George Brigman and Raven and a lot of these things. You know, you can work wonders with reissues these days, and the technology just wasn't there for it back then. This is an absolutely stunning Southern rock record. We licensed this for reissue on Writing Easy. Hopefully that'll be coming sometime soon. This is far out, like really lo-fi DIY Southern rock, which a lot of those Southern rock privates, what I like about them is that they have a really pro sound recording quality. And this is rough around the edges. It's killer. Southern rock. If you like Leonard Skinner, Allman Brothers, that sort of thing, then this is for you for sure. And just unbelievable. Love that stuff. And then here, not only do we have the OG Out of Step EP here with the black back cover.
Oh yeah.
We've got to be gentle here.
You don't have to take it out. Just leave it like that.
You got to see the other side.
Oh, there's another side.
Yeah. So we have a set list, a Minor Threat set list, written on the back of a Red Cross flyer here.
Wow.
And based on my research, it seems pretty obvious that was Ian MacKay's handwriting on there too. So that's a fun one. Here in LA, there's a lot of folks that have amazing punk records, and I don't remember which collection this came out of, but I'm very, very honored to have it. Minor Threat and Discord were huge for me coming up. Like, it was like a huge part of my development, and Discord Records is like a huge part of like my development and how I want to run a record label, want to run a shop, doing things egalitarian, and just being really fair and honest and upfront with everybody that you work with. And yeah, that's really important to me. This, not so important to me personally, but it's a unique piece, so I'll show it, and I'll come back to those 45s. This is the first G.G. Allin record, and even though G.G. went on to do very, very nasty, nasty things, this is an incredible power pop record. It's absolutely amazing. It's fairly clean. The lyrics are only kind of naughty, and this is autographed by G.G. And there's some more inscriptions from the other band members on the back.
Oh man!
I think I bought this copy from Ron House at a WFMU record fair back in the day. I'm pretty sure I paid $100 for this, which is like absolutely incredible. This is 2 copies of the same Exit 45. I started my store in Chicago in 2006, so I got very well acquainted with the Chicago punk scene. One of the rarest Chicago punk records is this Exit 45. There are 2 picture sleeve variants, so of course you got to have one of each. And I reissued some of this material on Permanent Records as an EP at some point many, many years ago. And there's a forthcoming reissue of LP of these tracks and unreleased material coming soon too on a different label. And then another Chicago piece here. We have a very water damaged OG of Phil Coran and the Artistic Heritage Ensemble. You can tell when I got some of these things because not only does that have the old Chicago store stamp, I wasn't even putting rare records in new poly bags. I was just taking whatever was on them, throwing it on the shelf, and I never even threw a MoFi sleeve on there or anything. But I bought this many, many years ago, and Phil Coran is one of my favorite members of AACM. He played in the Sun Ra Orchestra and is just like an absolutely incredible musician. Plays an instrument called the Frankenphone, which is essentially an amplified thumb piano. And his sons, of which there are many, he was a very prolific man, are known as the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble.
Okay.
So they do like instrumental hip hop on brass instruments live. It's incredible. I have no personal connection to this record whatsoever, but this is one of the most amazing kids records you'll ever find. This is the kind of thing that if you saw this in a dollar bin, you'd probably pass it over all day because most of these Hat Palmer and Kimbo records are all worthless, and for good reason. This record's absolutely incredible. It's like the tracks are just called fast rock, fast waltz, slow waltz, etc. But fast disco, slow disco, Latin hustle on here are instrumental bangers. They are like unbelievably cool tracks, and I like to DJ this often, and yeah, hardly anybody even knows it exists. I think there's 2 or 3 people had this in their collection on Discogs, and I had to add this particular title to Discogs, or my girlfriend did anyway.
Wow.
It wasn't even up there, which is crazy because this should be everywhere, you know, and it's just not for some reason. And last but not least, we'll show a couple records that are just kind of near and dear to me personally. This is the test pressing of Brown Acid, the first trip. This is before Daniel decided to actually market the test pressings and like sell them and print quantity on them so that you could get it ahead of the release. So there's no jacket, just hand stamped labels done differently than they were later years. And you know, that's my baby, of course, because record collecting isn't all about value. Sometimes it's about monetary value, sometimes it's about sentimental value. This is my dad's copy of the Who Sell Out, so that'll stay with me till the end. Of course, he gave this to me a long time ago, and he's no longer with us, unfortunately. And then my mom passed away earlier this year, and this is a tribute to her. This is her copy of All Things Must Pass. It's not in great shape, but it does have a little teardrop peace sign thing that she drew on the inside of the cover, which really just kind of brings me a lot of joy. And it's really nice to have a piece of her, especially now that she's no longer with us, unfortunately. So yeah, just remember, folks, it's not all about how much your records are worth, it's how much they're worth to you. And this is priceless to me, even though this is worthless monetarily.
Right. So I mean, your house is on fire, you could grab one thing, you grab that and over the fraction probably.
That makes the cut all day, for sure.
Yeah. You opened your record store in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
24 years old, yeah.
That's awesome. What has changed? Records have changed since 2006. Then it was a labor of love, and you probably weren't making a ton of money.
Yep.
How much has the record store culture changed since 2006?
So incredibly drastically, but so slowly that it was hard to kind of feel the change as it was happening. It's really easy to look back 19 years on and be like, whoa, I remember, I don't know if you can see Maggot Brain up on the wall in the shot here or not, but we have two copies of Funkadelic's Maggot Brain on the wall, right? There's a 1971 US and a 1971 Australian pressing up there. One of the first negative comments a customer had about a price at the store, they saw a copy of Maggot Brain on the wall for $30 back in 2006. They're like, you'll never sell that record for $30. And I was like, well, all right, this is the first one we've ever had. I'm going to try it at the most anything is priced at in the store at that time.
Yeah.
And it sold fairly quickly, and I didn't see another one for many months, maybe years after that, right? Yeah. And the prices, as they started ratcheting up for what I could get them for, I had to start pricing them more. But then they were selling, so then you sell out of them, and it slowly just snowballs to the point where now Maggot Brain's a $250 record all day, in good shape. It's a very hard record to find clean, and any given, you can go wander around your city, hitting thrift stores and estate sales and garage sales and come home with 0 records if that's how you try to buy them. They're not easy to come by. You really have to have built up a good reputation and a network of people to buy records from.
Well, I feel like we could talk for hours, but you're such a prominent figure in the obscure hard rock vein on the internet and in person, so I'm glad and honored to have you on here. So thanks for your time.
Thank you for saying that, and thanks for having me, Dylan. I appreciate it. I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did. Don't forget to check out the podcast. The links to all that is in the description of this video. It's called Vinyl Biography Podcast. Also, be on the lookout. Lance also interviewed me. So on his channel, he's got a YouTube channel just called Permanent Records. He's going to we turn the tables a little bit and he interviews me. So that'll be coming to his channel soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next Sunday, same time, same place, with another interview from LA. See ya.